We begin today in Austria, following multiple shootings in the capital last night. Men carrying rifles opened fire outside Vienna's main synagogue and in multiple other places. The Chancellor, Sebastian Kurz, has described the incident as a terrorist attack. The Interior Ministry said the man who was killed by police was wearing a fake bomb belt. Jay Marquez reports.
At least 4 people are dead, including one of their assailants, and 15 others wounded in what has been called a terrorist attack by Austrian police. A witness described the moment the shooting began.
Suddenly, the shooting started. First, we didn't know what it was, but suddenly people who were sitting in other terraces started to run. First, we kept standing there because we didn't know what was going on, and then there was shooting again, but closer, so we started to run away. Because we did not know if we were running in the right direction, we ran into a hotel and hid there.
According to Austrian Chancellor Sebastian Kurz, the motive may have been anti-Semitic, given that shooting began outside Vienna's main synagogue. With at least one attacker still on the loose, Austria's Interior Minister issued this warning.
If it's possible, except for professional reasons and other important reasons, then please stay at home.
French President Emmanuel Macron immediately tweeted that the French share the shocking grief of the Austrian people. This is a friendly country that has been attacked. This is our Europe. We will not give in. France has endured 3 attacks blamed on Muslim extremists in recent weeks, all of which were strongly condemned at the time by Austria's Chancellor. The neighbouring Czech Republic has launched border checks amid fears that the gunmen might be heading in that direction. Jay Marquez, Euronews.
Well, let's go to Vienna now to speak to our reporter Johannes Plechberger, who's there for us. Can you just explain, we know that at least one shooter is still on the loose. What is the status of the investigation right now?
The authorities think that there might be up to 4 additional attackers. One has been shot. There might be up to 4 additional attackers that are still on the run. The police are searching all over Vienna. There are helicopters, there are police cars. And as we heard, the government says the people should not leave their homes. So it's a very tense situation, and it's unclear how many additional attackers, terrorists, there are still on the run. The last that we know is that the terrorist that was shot was a follower of ISIS, and some eyewitnesses heard a detonation that night. As we know, the explosive belt the shot terrorist was wearing was a fake, but the police had actually had caused the detonation when they opened his home. So we don't know if this was the detonation that the eyewitness was hearing. This is the latest information we have. Police are still looking for additional suspects.
And Chancellor Sebastian Kurz is holding a series of emergency meetings today, particularly this morning, going to address the public later on. What else do we know?
Well, something else that we know about the victims. So another person died in the early morning hours. So we know now that there are 4 victims so far and several injured. And we know that there are 2 women dead and 2 men dead. And a woman that died at the shooting, she was a restaurant employee, and she worked in a restaurant in a bar. So this shooting was right in the center of Vienna, where a lot of people were out on the streets. It was the last evening before the lockdown, before the nighttime lockdown. And there were a lot of people out, and they tried to enjoy the warm, quite mild weather. But this turned out to be a real nightmare for Vienna that hasn't happened in years, decades, and the city is really under shock.
Yeah, it is absolutely galling. Well, this clearly is a developing story. We'll bring you up to speed with all the developments as and when we get them. Thank you very much, Johannes Plechberger, speaking to us there in Vienna.